President Trump, well, what was his involvement on the January 6th Capitol riots? That is something that is continuing in a hearing that is going on. This is showing that essentially that potentially Trump pressure drew violence, threats to local officials, and this is what's been shown in the fourth public hearing, where the committee has shared new evidence of Trump's personal involvement in organizing the false electoral strategy, is what's been claimed. And this is the testimony of witnesses on the hearing are to show that weeks after the 2020 presidential election, they said that President Donald Trump engaged in a campaign targeting state and local officials. Many of them are Republicans, and essentially riling up his supporters. And what they say is has put others in physical danger, officials who refuse to help overturn his election loss. And the level of pressure that came from Trump and his supporters and to these electoral officials and fellow Republicans, they said that they were put in dangerous circumstances when it came to going along with the president's story after losing the election to the incoming president, Joe Biden. And essentially, committee laid out how this level of attacks from the former president incited violence and the election falsehoods that inflicted everybody to resist what the narrative was, but essentially what it prompted was what we saw on January 6th, riots in Capitol Hill, the attacks that we'll never forget. Here is a bite from the hearing that took place yesterday.
Thank you. Please be seated. Let the record reflect that the witness answered in the affirmative. Ms. Moss, thank you very much for being here today. I understand that you are here along with your mother today. Would you like to introduce your mama? Hi, Mom. Ms. Moss, today we'll be asking you about some of the threats that you received following the 2020 election. Since you've been an election worker for over 10 years, I want to ask you, in your decade of service, had you ever experienced threats like these before? Don't be nervous. Just, I understand. So, and I want to make sure that the record reflects that you've done it for quite a while and you never received a threat, and your answer was no. Thank you. Pursuant to Section 5C8 of the House Resolution 503, the chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Schiff, for questions.
Good afternoon, Ms. Moss. Thank you for being here. I understand that you were employed by the Fulton County Registration and Elections Department for more than 10 years, and I understand that you love that job. Please tell us what made you so fond of the work that you did.
Well, I've always been told by my grandmother how important it is to vote, and how people before me, a lot of people, older people in my family, did not have that right. So what I loved most about my job were the older voters. Younger people could usually do everything from their phone or go online, but the older voters like to call, they like to talk to you, they like to get my card, they like to know that every election I'm here. And like even college students, a lot of parents trust in me to make sure their child does not have to drive home. They'll get an absentee ballot, they can vote, and I really found pleasure in that. I liked being the one that, you know, if someone can't navigate my voter page, or, they want a new precinct card and they don't have a copy machine or a computer or all of that, I could put it in the mail for them.
Should have been.
And the one that, if someone can't navigate my voter page, or, they want a new precinct card and they don't have a copy machine or a computer or all of that, I could put it in the mail for them. I was excited always about sending out all the absentee ballots for the elderly, disabled people. I even remember driving to an hospital to give someone her absentee application. That's what I love the most.
So you really enjoyed helping people vote and participate, and that was something, the right to vote that your grandmother taught you was precious.
Yes.
Well, I know the events that we're here to talk about today are incredibly difficult to relive.
There you have it. That was part of the hearing that took place yesterday that's unfolding on the January 6th Capitol riots. We are continuing to follow this story, and we'll definitely put out a Y Media special report as the details are unfolded in each of the hearings.